Hello folks, I'm back. If there are any of you still out there waiting to see if I'd come back, I do need to do a quick check to make sure everything's behaving. And then... yeah, all looks fine. Nope, just me. Let's play some more Kerbal Space Program, like we were doing before. It was pretty good. My space plane didn't do such a good job of being a space plane, though. It kind of destroyed itself on the runway, which I would generally consider to be not an ideal form of flight. I think there are worse ways that could have happened, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. However, one thing's for sure, they do exist. Well, so I have to tell myself. Hopefully I'll be able to... I'm not quite sure what went wrong exactly. Like, you know, I was taking off my airplane, my space plane, rather, and it just started tweaking out on the runway and exploded. I think maybe I accelerated too quickly. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe something wrong with the way the gear was set up made it unstable. Quite possibly that, although I think the gear was fine. I'm not sure. We'll try and fix it. I'm going to need to get more money, though, so I think that's going to have to go on the back burner, because I'm going to need to do some other stuff first to try and get some funds. You know what? I might as well switch back to webcam while we are waiting for the game to load. Hello, folks. It's slightly dimmer in here now than it was earlier. But that's fine. I'm enjoying a wonderful beer to help me, you know, perform aerospace engineering more correctly, I guess is how I'd put it. Just trying really carefully to pour the whole beer, but not... Alright, let's just... Okay, as you can hear, we're now in game. Switch us over to the thing there. Stock my viewer list. I'm satisfied with the stocking I've accomplished. Okay, let's try and fix up that, No, we gotta put that on hold. We have to put that on hold for a moment because we do not have any money. We can accept more contracts to get more money. Hopefully I can fulfill some of the contracts I already have instead. So science data from space around Kerbin, that would be easy. Yeah, why don't we just do that? We'll just I already have a vessel ready to go that can do that. I'm just gonna see if I can add any more science devices to this so I can actually get some new science. Jeez. Not really? Oh wait, I haven't taken, I don't think I've taken magnetometer readings from space around Kerbin yet. Oh, and this thing doesn't have a... I definitely don't have Science Junior readings. So let's get on that. Let me just write down a couple of figures here so that I can figure out how much extra fuel I need to add after I shove on the Science Junior. Hello, Crassio. Welcome. Alright. No, face the correct way, please. Thank you. Alright, good. So, we're going to need to add a bit more fuel to this, just to make sure we can actually, you know, fly through space without detonating. We don't need to carry so many batteries now, because I actually have solar panels. When I first built this crap, I didn't have those available. So we're gonna need to add a bit more fuel to this. Pretty sure that was what we had on there before. That had 54 fuel, so let's try the next size up, which is 90, I think. I don't think there's any intermediary thing there. I think this is the next size up. Okay, that's... Oh, well, once we put the landing gear and stuff on, that should be about correct. So let's shove that stuff back on there. Because we do want to be recovering as much of this craft as we possibly can. We are going to want... How much? Yeah, you know, the battery power is probably enough. I'll just give it a couple of these, Oh, you know, we're probably going to want to add more parachutes. Anyway, let's just, let's give it a couple of these photovoltaic panels. Let's get rid of this parachute. Use 2 radio parachutes instead. Should I don't think there's, that pushes the cost of the vehicle up too much. Not bringing a magnetometer boom, but that's fine. So, what was our target for this stage? That's still more delta V than we need, so we're just gonna... Alright. And as for the other stage, we need to add a little bit more fuel, which is easily achieved. Did not work as well as I'd. Okay, that's fine. Let's replace all this with... Oh, hey. I don't need to use those tanks anymore. Well, not if I'm using 2 of them. I should replace them with one of these. Ah, the fine art of revising old designs. Can I... Yeah, okay, so I can add a little bit more fuel on there, and then that should... Getting close. That's still not quite enough to be safe. Yeah, that should be fine. We're not going to get a whole lot of thrust at first, but should be 2, 6, 6. Yeah, okay, this should be fine. This should, unless I'm forgetting something, let's check our staging. Definitely don't want that. Alright, this should work nicely. It's just to add some of those launch stability enhancers. I noticed after the newest update, sometimes if you don't have these launch stability enhancers on there, your craft will explode the launch pad. Like you'll hit the launch button and then you'll just see the launch pad exploding, which not ideal, shall we say. It's not really what you want. Anyway, that's done. Let's go ahead and launch this. I'm just gonna check which who gave us this contract, just because I like to outfit my craft with the flag of the person who gave me the contract I'm doing. So this one is for integrated. No, I don't want the tracking station. Nope. Integrated integrals. I haven't tested this exact design yet, so I'm not going to send an orange shirt, because there is a chance this is going to detonate. That would be really, really bad, because I would just not have money exactly at that point. If this mission were to not go well, I would have a little bit of a problem. This is not the craft I wanted. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I would have a little bit of problem with not having any money, which is bad. Very, very bad. So hopefully this goes absolutely fine. to get some money back, and then we can try to do a little bit more work on that space plane and hopefully get it working so that I can start deploying a satellite communications network around the planet Kerbin so that I will have a communications network. Alright. This is all looking good. Let's go ahead and blast off into space. Oh, fuck. I accidentally put on only one mystery goo container instead of two, which is gonna make this craft a little bit unstable. That's okay. I already launched it, so I gotta try and fly this anyway, because I don't have enough money to launch again. I can't believe I fucked that up. Wow, that's not ideal. But that's fine. I just need to, keep control of my craft, and everything will be absolutely fine. Now that we got a bit of speed going, it seems like it's okay. Our stabilizers there are able to keep us pointed in more or less the right direction, which is really all you can hope for. I'm a little bit worried about just how much this is jiggling. Could possibly, fall apart and explode at any moment. Let's not flip it anymore. I think we're okay. I think we're alright. Definitely not exactly how I wanted this to go, but overall, it's completely fine. Don't mind the glowing red surface of the rocket. That just means that we're going adequately fast to reach our orbit. Everything's fine. We're not going to disassemble. Our Apple app's a little bit low. I probably shouldn't. It'll all sort itself out once I get going a bit faster. So try to keep this thing pointed prograde so that it doesn't rip apart. Okay, this should be a little bit harder to control on account of the... Yeah, this is going to be a little bit tricky to control. I want to get higher. Yeah, I'm pretty low, but it should be alright. I should just end up going fast enough that I shoot into orbit very soon now. My Apple app should get nice and high, and then I can turn off the engines for a bit. So I'm out of the atmosphere, which will make this thing a little bit easier to keep on track. I didn't actually bring enough fuel, though. I brought a little bit, not enough fuel, I think. That's not good. I just need to get into space, that's fine. I just need to get my Apple apps up to 70K. Fuck! Well, I think that was largely a piloting error. Also, because that should have been enough fuel. But I pitched the rocket down too quickly, and the fact that it was unbalanced meant I couldn't keep the thing straight, which didn't help. So I'm gonna be having some money issues. That's okay. I shouldn't be completely screwed. And this thing will at least return to the planet safely, so I'll get a little bit of money back. Where am I gonna land? In the water. That's okay. I have reverts turned off, Crassio. I'm going hard mode, so there's no reverting. I must deal with it. Let's just save this craft, and then I'll, try again. There, I'm gonna need to get a little bit... How much money do I have left? 864 funds. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to take a couple more contracts in order to get more money. And yeah, I should have done my turn higher. That was my bad. I should have enough fuel, as long as I don't make such a bad piloting error next time. And also, if I even up these goo containers, the thing will fly a little bit better, which is going to help. Save that for where we land. Alright. Just wait for this thing to crash. We would like to get a little bit further if we could. Pitch the nose of this thing up a little bit. And I should be able to use the aerodynamics of this craft to carry me over the ground. Because good old Ferram Aerospace means that this thing will fly a little bit, even though it doesn't have any wings. If I can just put this down on the land so that, you know, I don't lose anything from ditching in the water, that would be nice. Alright, looking good. Happy to land anywhere here. Just wait until we slow down a little bit more and then I'll pop my parachutes out. A lot of waiting in this game. But that's alright. We got Dudis Kerman there. What kind of name is Dudis? I guess he's probably a bro. I do like these clouds from the Astronomer visual pack, and also the planets and stuff in general just look a lot better, but yeah, clouds are nice. Alright, let's get those parachutes out. Oh dear. That keeps happening. You know, I pop out the parachutes there, and aerodynamic forces tend to tear the bottom off of these spacecraft. Now, I don't really like Deadly Reentry. I'm using a lot of other mods, but not that. There's a lot of craft designs and stuff that you can't do with Deadly Reentry that I like using, so I don't know, maybe I'm just a scrub, but no, I don't really like Deadly Reentry. There goes that stuff. We are spinning a little bit here. Let's just... Well, you know, at least Dudis Kerman will survive just fine. And I'll get a little bit of money back from recovering this. Not a whole lot. I need to figure out... Every time when I pop out the parachutes, that, the lower fuel tank and stuff just tends to rip off this particular design, so I need to deploy my parachutes when I'm lower, I guess, when I'm already going a bit more slowly, and I'd probably be okay. Let's see what science we can do here on the ground. Do. Transmit the... Oh, can't transmit. That's okay. Just doing a little bit more ground science here to get as much... I mean, I lost a bunch of money on this mission, which is not good considering the difficulty settings I have, and the lack of money I have at the moment is going to mean that that's going to make my life hard. But if I can at least get a fair bit of science from it, then it won't be completely for nothing. Although, I'm not really having any shortage of science, because I'm using that unpaid... outsourced R&D strategy, which is really, really overpowered at the moment. So we got 40 science from that. That's not too bad. We managed to recover almost 3,000 funds, so that's okay. We still have, like, no money. I'm just gonna have to take... Just going to have to take some more contracts. That was a nice advance. Okay, that'll work. I should probably at this point, however, change up my strategies. For one thing, I'm gonna get rid of this outsourced R&D thing. It's too overpowered is the main reason. Like, it's really strong. It's also taking away my funds, which I do need right now, but mostly just that thing is way too OP. So let's just make a couple small adjustments to that craft and try again with that mission. I'm guessing this join should be fine as long as I deploy my parachutes higher. I could shove on some struts, but yeah, I'm just gonna add one of these little invisible strut-type struts right here, just to reinforce that joint a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't tear off next time. That's balanced now. I don't need anything else on this, do I? No, it's fine. Alright, this time things will be different. I'm not going to, well, fuck up so hard. This thing... Actually, no. According to the numbers I've written down, this thing doesn't have quite enough delta V to actually make it. So I'm just gonna... It just needs a little bit more fuel. Based on my past experience, that should be a little bit more than I need, which is fine. Considering how badly the last mission failed, I'll just take a little bit more than what I should need this time. No, not load. And then everything should be good. We'll send Dudis Kerman up again. He did a reasonably good job last time. The error was mine, not his. So we'll give him another chance here. Okay, so I just gotta get up there, get some science, get back to the planet, not fuck up so bad this time. Okay. Yeah, we started our gravity turn too low last time, and also we turned more aggressively than we probably should have. Having the craft be unbalanced was a big problem. This is much more nicely balanced. It's not trying to flip out constantly, because this time, you know, it's actually symmetrical, which is nice. This should work nicely. Sorry about the silence, I was momentarily distracted. I should have turned a little bit more aggressively this time. That's okay, we'll just try to bring that down now. And everything will be wonderful. This... Actually, no, we're alright, we're doing okay. For our turn. We're not going particularly quickly yet, so this is fine. We do want to bring the nose down closer to the horizon now. Especially since, you know, we're starting to get up over the more brutally difficult parts of the atmosphere. Yeah, no, this is looking good, actually. Keep the nose here for a moment. I like to get up to my apoapse and have a fairly sort of shallow angle, so I don't need to burn too much at apoapsis, because, you know, it's just nicer that way. I like it like that. This is looking good, though. This is looking really good. We're gonna run out of fuel on this stage in a moment. Our apoapsis is almost up to 70K. Let's bring this right down. I'm gonna push the apoapsis up to about 80,000 on this thing. Actually, we're gonna stop there. We'll go for 76. That should be good. We should have enough fuel left to circularize this orbit. We don't even need to... I mean, this thing... It'd just be nice to get the orbit more circular so I can land near the Space Center, but for this task that I have, I don't really need to orbit. I just need to get up into space, get some science, and head back down. Yeah, let's time warp up through the rest of the atmosphere. Yeah, that could have been... I could have turned a little bit more aggressively this time, but that was generally pretty good. I'm only going to need about 400 meters a second to speed up. Yeah, this should be fine. I don't actually... Oh, we're looking good here. Let's just get as much science. I don't need that. Save that other mystery goo for when we land. I've already done all the EVAs from space near Kerbal that I can. In fact, we don't even need to circularize this orbit. What I want to do is just burn around the planet and put us back down. Near the Space Center. I'm gonna have to... 600... How much do I need to deorbit? Whoop! I'm missing my node. Just want to make sure I save myself enough fuel to actually land this thing. Yeah, the trajectory mod is really, really useful. Let's burn towards the ground here so that Revamp is coming up faster. I gotta stop burning because I need to make sure I'll have enough fuel to actually deorbit. Oh no, I can do a little bit more. Okay, where am I going to come down? This is not 212 meters a second delta V. I shouldn't actually need more than like 60 to deorbit. Yeah, fuck it. Why am I doing this? I should... Let's just bring that periapis up. Alright, that's fine. That is fine. Okay, let's get ourselves set up to land at the Space Center. With the wonderful science we have collected. Okay. Yeah, I always overestimate how much fuel I'm actually gonna need to get back down from low orbit. You really don't need much at all. I always think I'm gonna need more than you do. So I tend to worry about it more than I probably should. Anyway, let's just set ourselves an alarm and then warp around to the other side of the planet. While I drink my beer. I should let Lars know that I'm streaming again. Yes, delete that. Let me just... Whoops. Whoops. That wasn't what I wanted to do, but that's fine. Oh, wow. Well, that went a lot better than expected. I was just trying to open up Steam in-game, which I have to press Shift to do. So I accidentally increased my thrust, but that looks really good. That's fine. I'll adjust that a little bit when I get closer, and I should land nice and close to the Space Center. Good. Everything went a lot better than I expected. Warp around until we get back inside the atmosphere. Now, we can adjust where we're going to land by adjusting which way the spaceship is pointed, basically, because we can glide this thing a little bit. So, but that's looking good. We would like to land a little bit closer to the Space Center, so I'm just going to bring the nose up a little so we generate a bit more lift. Oh. Accelerate time a little. Yeah, that's not going to work until I'm a little bit deeper in the atmosphere. For now, I probably just want to keep the thing pointed prograde. What's my altitude? 61K. I don't need this anymore. Oh, shit! I tired it out pretty bad there. That's fine. I'll just slow myself down a little bit more with this fuel I've got left. I was misreading this thing, and I was thinking my actual trajectory was the one that was going to happen if I had carried out that maneuver node, which I obviously didn't do correctly. However, don't matter. Got enough fuel left to fix this up. Okay. We used very nearly all our fuel. We've got 0.65 liquid fuel left, but that's fine. We got the job done. Let us fly down, and then we will have enough money to do a bit more work on that spaceplane design that I was using earlier, which exploded on the runway really, really dramatically. That was not good. That's why I ended up so broke. That was an expensive spaceplane, but I'm from the United States originally, but I live in Australia now, Crescio. I've lived in Australia for about 17 years, although I still have an American accent for whatever reason. Alright. That's looking good. Come down a little bit. You don't want to land in the water. Keep this thing pointed the right way so that I don't land in the water, because it's gonna be close. Alright, kill the warp now. Okay, so we want to wait until we're a little bit slower before I deploy those parachutes, because we don't want the bottom of the fucking thing to rip off again. Well, I've been deploying them when I'm going at about 500 meters a second, but I mean, there's no need to deploy them that high up, so I'll give it until going a bit slower. Alright. Oh, come on! I had the strut there and everything! Ah, man. That's fine. I mean, all we really lose from that is we don't get as much money back from the recovery of the vessel. I guess I gotta wait longer before I open those parachutes. Let me just tell Lars that I'm back, so that he will know. Hey, it looks like some of the, some debris survived. Well, that's... You know, I can recover that stuff at least, so I wonder what that is over there that actually survived. I will find out after I land. So... the landing legs. Of course it'd be the landing legs. Yeah, there wasn't much fuel left in that. The main thing is the engine. Recovering the engine's worth a fair bit of money. But, that's okay. We finished that contract we wanted to finish, so we will have enough money to launch. Ah, Lars. I used to play Star Wars: The Old Republic. I've got a couple of characters at max level, actually. Not for a long time. Well, that went well. And good, I do have enough money to do another launch for that space plane. But I first have to figure out... why the thing tore itself apart on the runway before I try to do another launch. Otherwise, well, I'm probably just going to tear it apart on the runway again. Like, it looks good. It just got really unstable. Maybe these things are at a bad... Oh, yeah, that's a really bad angle. I don't know what I was thinking when I put them there. It's probably what actually caused the issue here. So... let's get these a bit further apart. I'm a little bit concerned about this as well. No, that should be okay. 12 times experience boost? That's insane. But I guess it's only on class missions. There's not that many of them. Okay, what else might have gone wrong with this thing? Are those tailplanes straight? Yeah, they look fine. I wasn't using the RCS, that's not that. Everything about this looks okay. I mean, this is sticking through the bottom of the cargo bay, but that wasn't the problem. That was not what went wrong. This should have plenty of delta V. Those cargo bay doors are going to intersect with this stuff, but that doesn't really matter. Ah, you can level to the max doing only class missions. Right, that actually is really good, because I'd really like to see the other class storylines, but I don't want to grind. I may have to play that the next couple, well, soon, and yeah, take a shot at that. That's awesome. This looks fine. I don't know what went wrong last time. I'm just gonna try and launch this again. I'm sure this time it won't rip apart on the runway. I'm sure this time things will be fine. Well, I've been a sub for a long... Like, I'm still subscribed to the game. I have been a sub for a while. I didn't know there was a new expansion pack I could pre-order. That's good news, too. I like new content for that. Let's just move this out of the way. So... hopefully this time this thing isn't going to tear itself apart. Yeah, let's just try and launch this again. I haven't had much success with space planes ever in the past, so... I wasn't braking on any of these, was I? No, these aren't braking. The steering's locked, but that's fine. That's what we want. That's all fine. Well, let's try and take off again. Hopefully this time we won't tear ourselves apart. The last takeoff was at least, you know, pretty dramatic. I'm gonna keep the speed a little bit lower while I'm on the ground this time. I think the issue I had before, these are actually the basic jet engine. It's just the basic thing, but I'm using a thing that replaces the default parts with ones that just look nicer. So these are exactly the same as the standard, you know, stock game jet engines. I need to go a little bit faster at this point. We are probably not going fast enough. Oh, just no! Fuck! Ah, shit! Okay, that plane will work. I just pitched back too soon after I came off the runway, and I hit the engines on the ground. The plane's fine. That was working just fine. Ah, shit. Piloting error, though. You can probably see why I haven't had very much success with space planes in the past. That didn't go so well. I don't have enough money to launch another one right away, but I will soon, that's fine. I got a bunch of science. Let's unlock this just to finish out this tier. And then we can unlock something else. Something from this tier. What do I want? What do I want? I'd be kind of tempted to get these toolboxes for the Kerbal attachment system, but I think I'm gonna get this so that I'll have the Mark II command pod. Yeah, I feel good about that. I need another. I think that thing costs 43,000 to launch, so I need to take a couple more contracts. I don't have enough. I could go back to the moon. This is probably... I'm probably not going to be able to do this. Oh, I got 20 years. No, I'll get that done in time. Let's take another job. We need more advance payments. Aerial survey of Kerbin at low altitude. Yeah, why not? I mean, we're trying to test a plane, right? Actually, that'd be... Where are those locations that I have to do the aerial survey of? I'm not sure if it's the red ones or the blue ones. Hopefully it's just these, because that's easy. We'll check it out once we, because that was only pilot error. That was nothing to do with the plane design. That was just me fucking up horribly. I think the plane's gonna work perfectly. I think it's gonna be great. If I can just, you know, fly it. Let's just put the brakes on for a second. So can I set these as... Ah, good, I can set my navigation up there. Alright. What altitude do we have to be at? Between 1,270 and... So we'll target 2,000 meters for our altitude, which should be a good height for these jet engines. And if this flight goes well, then in our next one we will actually try and send this thing to space. Because in this cargo bay here, I have a little communication satellite, which, considering I'm not planning to go to space on this particular mission, I probably should have taken out of there. But yeah, those are going to be my communication satellites, which I need up because I'm using RemoteTech. Anyway, this time I should probably turn off my brakes. This time things will be excellent. I'm not going to crash my own plane into the ground and blow myself up this time. You know, I've tried that once and I didn't really like it very much, so I'm not going to do that again. I'm just gonna let the end of the runway kind of lift us off here, and then... Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Gain altitude. You can do it. Raise up that gear. You're flying. Alright, good! This is working. We gotta turn a little bit. Target. Oh, we gotta gain a lot more altitude before I get to the target area. Jesus! Apparently I can't pitch that thing quite that aggressively. Wow. Okay. I think that might have... Plane's good though. The plane works. Kind of. Aside from the part where it ripped apart. I guess I was going a little bit too fast. I feel like it doesn't have enough lift, actually. I want to add more wings to it so that it lifts off a bit, you know, better. This is expensive, trying to get this thing working. God damn it. Not enough money to launch another one again. That's fine, I'll just take more contracts. Now, do I have any contracts I can actually finish with the 12 grand I've got so that I don't... Are any of these orbits, like, fairly low? Okay, I'm just gonna do... Let's take a look at the tracking station. Alright, I'm just gonna put a satellite into this orbit. That'll get me a couple 100,000 credits, funds, and then I'll have enough money to launch my spaceplane again. After a couple modifications. But I will need to quickly build something to put a satellite into that orbit. So let's start with this, which is the top part. Rip this off. Behaving. I know you can attach there. Don't fuck with me. Apparently this fuel tank has decided it doesn't have any kind of attachment on the top of it. Yeah, I really should add parachutes to the aircraft next time I fly it so that I can actually save it. That would be pretty smart. Well, we're just gonna have to rebuild the top part of this little doohickey. That's fine. We want to make this fairly cheap because we're so low on money. What's our budget? 12,000? I think I can get something into that orbit for 12,000, but probably not. Probably not with this much fuel on the upper stage, and probably not with 4 communications dishes. Really, three communication dishes should be enough. So that's what I'll aim for. Yeah, it's a pretty high orbit I have to aim for, so I also don't want to be making the top of this thing too heavy since I'm trying to keep the cost down. Let's put 3 of these dishes on. That's kind of ugly. There's no way I can make this not ugly. But if I don't have these on here, then this is kind of a waste of time. And that's fine. I'll just put them like that. It's gonna need batteries and solar panels also. So let's just shove the solar panels on there. That should be enough. And batteries, we'll use these little massless batteries. How much battery power do I need? I'm thinking I should bring at least 6 of these because this is gonna be in a pretty high orbit. So. Actually, no, it shouldn't be night for too long, ever. Let's just bring... Let's do 4 batteries. Just put them, like, right there. That's fine. Okay, so that's 5 grand. That's the actual payload. Now I just need to, for a fairly cheap price, build... something to carry this into a fairly high orbit. Well, I mean, it can use its own fuel, obviously, for the last part, but... Where are my radio? Where are my stack decouplers, damn it? There we go. Fuel tanks. Use this. What's a nice, cheap engine I can use to lift this thing off? I could probably do it with the LVT-30. I mean, I won't have any thrust vectoring, but... be the cheapest option. I think I'm gonna want about... That's actually probably enough Delta V. I might want a little bit more. I can't really afford for this to go wrong, so I'm going to just... I'm gonna add more, but I'm gonna add it on the top stage there, actually. Which means this is a pain in the ass, but that's fine. So... this battery's gonna have to be removed. Just, I want to make sure that... this is not actually a smart way of doing what I'm trying to do. I just realized. No, this'll work. Yeah, I really don't want this to go wrong, so I'm just gonna make sure I have, you know, more than enough, like preferably a lot more than enough fuel to get up there, because if this backfires, I'm gonna be in the shit when it comes to money, which we obviously don't want. 3 of these. Not much point having less than 3 of these dishes, just because of the way RemoteTech works. I mean, you can do useful stuff with only 2. Any less than 2, though, and there's just not any real point. Let's put the photovoltaic panels on. That costs about the same. Okay, so what's our DOTV at now? That's actually, we actually get a, oh wait. Definitely don't need 2 engines. Yeah, that should be plenty. That should be enough. That should be fine. Because we have FAR, we're gonna want to put on some little stabilators. Looks fine. I think that's all we're gonna need. No, that's not all we're gonna need. I need, I'm glad I remembered this, I also need one of these short-range transmitters that I can use atmospherically so that I can actually steer. Hello, Andy Jr., welcome to the stream. Yes, I know, oh wait, no, not there. Actually, no, that's fine. Yeah, I know, I always forget when, like, it's actually time to do it. I got really used to quicking, and then somebody told me, like, I found out about the hotkeys, but I was so used to quicking that I've just stuck with it, even though it's kind of a pain. Anyway, this thing should be, this should be fine. This should be fine. Okay, so what is the target height of our orbit here? We want to get to 791 kilometers for the periaps. All right, so we're gonna try and get to 791 Ks. This should if this goes wrong, no, I'm sure we'll be fine. Let's go. I'm sure everything will be completely fine. I'm not going to worry about doing a particularly aggressive gravity turn, actually, because we're going for such a high orbit. I'm just trying to get into a specific orbit. It's part of the FinePrint mod, which is one of the mods I'm using. Oop, don't want to go too fast. Oop, let's just cut the throttle for a second there. Alright, don't want to go too fast, too low in the atmosphere. Ferram Aerospace is going to rip my fucking vehicle asunder. I don't want. Surprisingly, I don't really like being ripped asunder. I'm feeling like I probably didn't bring enough fuel. No, there should be plenty of fuel. Just running through this stage more quickly than I expected, but as long as I can get that apoapse nice and high. So high up to this gravity turn late, but that's fine. This should work. I should have more than enough fuel. I think I'm just. Yeah, no, it's starting to look like this is gonna work just fine, actually. Apoapse starting to get nice and high. Almost out of fuel on this stage, but that's fine. We actually have a lot of delta V in the next stage of the rocket. Oh yeah, there's a lot more delta V in the next stage than I thought, if Kerbal Engineer is to be believed, which it usually is. It doesn't tend to lie. Okay. Why are are you turning that way? Oh, fuck! Ah, stupid! I didn't deploy my communications before I detached the other part of the rocket, and now this thing is debris, basically. I can't do anything about this. I need to deploy one of these communication dishes before I staged. Hang on, guys, I have a plan. Be right back. I just need to get something to drink. Sorry about that. I may have Alt F4'd a little bit. I was pretty mad about that I forgot to deploy that communication dish. However, since I Alt F4'd, I will now have a second chance. I may be playing without reverts on, but if I get really mad, I can still essentially cheat. As long as I haven't, achieved a stable orbit or anything else that causes the game to autosave. Anyway, let's just try that again. I didn't... Also, we're not going to get quite full throttle. That caused us some problems last time. Yeah. That didn't go as well as I could have hoped. This time, I will not forget to deploy my communication dish before staging. I would just deploy them now, but they tend to rip apart if I'm inside the atmosphere when I deploy them, so that's obviously something we don't want to happen. So I gotta wait until I'm in space to deploy them. And I really just have to make sure that I don't, forget to deploy them and cause my one hope. I actually have 0 funds. No, that thing switched out, actually, that's not right. This thing is currently threatening to tear itself apart. If I pitch down, it may stabilize a little bit, or it may tear itself apart harder. I'm still getting used to FAR. I was playing the game stock for the longest time, and I've only just recently started trying mods, so I installed like 1 billion mods at once, and half of them I'm not even used to playing, well, more than half. I'm not really used to playing with so many mods yet. Particularly stuff like FAR that changes the game in a really sort of fundamental way. Let's try to pitch down a bit higher up. Just gonna burn out trying to get to a really high orbit, so like so far this is fine. But we're still going pretty much vertical. It's not actually a problem. Okay. Let's just cut that. Alright, now, once we are out of the atmosphere, I will activate this comms dish. Target mission control. Okay. I'm going to activate... No, I'm just going to activate that one. Now I still have control of the vessel. Good, because I actually remembered to do that. So, we're not quite high enough. We also want to... We want to get this orbit looking a bit flatter. Actually, mission control might go out of view, so I should really prioritize circularizing this. So I'm actually going to burn down to bring my periapse up a bit. Where's my Apple apps? Oh, that's fine. It's not as much. See, with RemoteTech, if I go out of line of sight of the Space Center, I'm going to have some serious problems in that I won't be able to control my craft anymore. We don't want that. Nah, I probably wasted a bunch of fuel there, though, because it is not as dire as I thought it was. I'll have plenty of visibility of the Space Center from Apple apps. So, we want to burn this out to... what, 7991 or 819009. So it's a little bit too far. It's a fairly inclined orbit, so just going by where the line appears to be is not going to be good enough. I want it to be around about... That'll do for now. So that's going to take about half of my remaining delta V, which is not good. I should have enough delta V that I'm not screwed. I should have enough to make this. I'm feeling pretty confident that this is gonna work. And yeah, that's what ultimately, yeah, I want to put satellites in geostationary orbits so that I can always connect stuff to the Space Center, but I haven't done it yet. So I do have to worry about things at the moment. I'm trying to get my spaceplane working first, because then I can launch this kind of stuff very cheaply, because I'll be able to recover the entire spaceplane, obviously, so I don't need to spend money on the launch vehicle. And since I'm going to be wanting to put up a lot of satellites, it just seems like I should try and do it as cheaply as possible. I'm not too sure about... I actually am a little bit worried about line of sight to the Space Center. It's down there somewhere. It is close to the horizon. Oh wait, no, it's back there. Oh no, this should be fine. Yeah, I mean, I could try and do single stage to orbit, but that still ends up being expensive. Yeah, this is KSP 0.25. I'm playing, for the difficulty settings, I have, like, reverts and respawns and stuff all turned off. But I have the science gains and money gains and reputation gains set to 100%, so it's kind of, like, in between normal and hard, I guess. good. That's pretty much the correct height. So when we get around there, we want to burn our periaps out to 7991. These are in completely the wrong place. Adjusting this orbit's going to eat a fair bit of delta V, actually. 7991, was it? Yeah. Yeah. As I said, I'm probably going to make a space plane to deliver most of my satellites in the future. In fact, I've been working on a space plane build. I just don't have it quite working yet, and I don't have enough money to launch it right now. Good news is I should have plenty. That's the main reason I'm doing this mission, is to get more money so that I can actually launch my space plane again. Which would be nice. Alright, let's fly around to our apoaps, where hopefully we will have... Yeah, no, there's no way the planet's gonna rotate that far in time. I'm not gonna have connection. I'm gonna need to do a few orbits around the planet before I'm gonna be in the right place with connection, so it's just... Yep, I know, but I don't care. I don't care right now. Get out of here. Maneuver node. We're gonna have to do a couple orbits until I can actually burn when I want to. Let's do one more, just so that I'm not worried about losing visibility during the burn. Okay. I should be able to do it this time. And then we just need to adjust the inclination. And everything will be wonderful. Absolutely perfect. We will get our money, and things will be just great. Let's do the time warp again. Alright. 4-second burn. Ah, no connection. Oh, come on! I'm trying to get into such specific orbits for contracts. I'm using... One of the plugins I'm using is called FinePrint. Yeah. It gives you contracts to put satellites into specific orbits. And, I figured, you know, since I have to put satellites into these orbits anyway, I might as well make them communication satellites. Oh, I have no electric charge. I didn't bring enough batteries. Or enough, no, I guess I didn't bring enough batteries. Well, that's not good. Because that's gonna be the dark side of Kerbin for a long time. I should have brought more batteries. Wow. Well, nothing I can do about that now. Let's, what can we do? Well, I mean, I could always... Actually, I won't be that far past my apoaps when the sun comes in view. I could just, Can I set the batteries to... Ah, I completely forgot I could do that. Then I'd have a backup reserve battery for exactly this situation. That's really smart. I will do that. And in fact, I'll still have line of sight on mission control after one more orbit, so I'm just going to go around the planet again. How close am I to apoapsis? Nah, see, that's too far past. I don't want to be doing my burn there. I'm going to push the apoapsis out much further than I want to. So I'm just going to wait until my batteries are nice and full, and then I'm going to disable them, because Actually, I think I shouldn't disable all of them, because I'm going to need to have battery power to be able to send the commands to re-enable the battery banks, but for the maneuver I need to make, 100 battery power should be plenty. I'll be able to run... well, I'll disable 2 of them. Make sure that I have some that are being used. Yeah, that should be fine. I can enable those when I get back around to my maneuver node. I should still have good visibility on the Space Center, so should be fine. Let's make another maneuver. 7991. Apparently this FinePrint mod I read in one of the dev note things is going to be incorporated into the base game, which I think is great because I think it's a really good mod. It gives you much more interesting contracts than what you normally get. This kind of stuff where you have to go to a really specific orbit or you have to fly over certain places on the planet. Just much nicer contracts than the default ones. So I'm glad they're going to make that part of the core game. Anyway, let's add another alarm here. Fly around the planet once more. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete that alarm now. So, everything is gone. Oh, good. I don't need a connection to do that. No, not that one. Yeah, you do eat through that charge pretty fast because I have to keep this communication panel deployed, obviously. But I should have enough time to make my maneuver since I only need 4 seconds. I do have a connection, right? Yes, and I will keep a connection. That's good. That's good. Let's just accelerate time up to the maneuver node. A couple seconds before the node. Again, we want this to be pretty precise. Okay, that's pretty close. So the next thing we need to do is when we come around towards this descending node. Hang on a second, guys. I just saw some kind of horrible spider demon. I think it was, a spider. I live in Australia. No, I have signal delay turned off because I found that... I mean, I know it's realistic, but I found it to not be very fun. Anyway, hang on a second. I just saw some kind of terrible spider demon that I have to deal with. The other day, I'm a little bit concerned about this because the other day I had a funnel web in here, and funnel web spiders are like super poisonous. So I'm a little bit concerned this might be another one of those guys. So I'm not kind of fucking around here. I'm just going to try and locate and kill, as you do. But I'm not quite sure where he went. Saw him running across the wall, and then he went behind a piece of furniture out of my vision. It may not be that type of spider. I just saw one the other day, and where you see one, there may be a few more on account of the whole they're insects, so they are able to reproduce them. That's something that I don't want. Not something I want. Webcam the spider. I would love to, but I can't find it. Although, actually, I might be able to use my webcam to help me find it without having to stick my hands right in there. So, what I'm going to do is, he's gone, I saw him going, somewhere around back behind this piece of furniture. So, do you guys see anything back there that looks like a spider? It's too dark, huh? He may be completely gone. I'm trying to see on my webcam because that's where I saw him go behind this thing. And obviously I don't want to stick my hands back there when it's a, potentially poisonous spider, because you don't want to be bitten by spiders, guys. It feels bad. But I don't... Oh, you know, maybe... No. Just part of living in Australia, you know? You gotta deal with this shit. You haven't seen spiders until you've seen the Australian spiders. Well, unless you live in, like, South America or something, you've probably seen far more intense spiders. Well, that's a little bit worrying, but I don't know where he's gone. So, I'm just going to, just gonna keep an eye on that. Just gonna keep an eye on that out of the corner of my eye, and hope that I don't receive a lethal spider bite on camera. I got my bug spray right here, so if I see him, I'm ready. It's not like under my desk, is he? Because that'd be the worst. That'd just be the worst. Okay. I'm relatively confident I'm not going to be bitten by a funnel web in the next 5 seconds, so... Back to the mission! I believe I was just about to try and set a maneuver node here. Yes, good. So I want to bring this down. Something like that. While I'm here, I may as well also do this on the same maneuver, try and get my apoaps and periaps in the right place. Yeah, that looks like that'll be a good little burn. I should have plenty of sunlight by then, so... If the stream stops, he's dead. Yeah, well, I mean, if I get bitten, it won't be like the stream will suddenly go off, because you'll hear the screams. It also occurs to me that it's possible that, like, it's completely just my mind playing tricks on me. I don't think so, though. It could be the case, but I don't think so. Anyway, 17 minutes until this maneuver. I'm really liking the alarm clock. It means I can just, like, time warp right up to the maneuver node and not even worry about it. Whereas before, I would overshoot stuff all the time because I'd be time warping too fast, and I'd be like, no, it'll be fine, I'll be able to slow down in time, and then, I'd fuck it up. Anyway, we got plenty of sunshine, we have a good connection to the Space Center, we are all ready to make this correction, and then... I don't need this life support monitoring right now. Then, hopefully... one of these things to reach a designated orbit will light up. Hopefully. Livestream spider death. That would at least, finally I might become Twitch famous. After all these years. If I was, because, like, that'd be in, like, the gaming news, like, all over the gaming press, right? You'd read about it on, like, every site. It'd be like, guy streaming Kerbal Space program, bitten by spider, dies. Be the headlines. Be great. I went way too far, and this was something that had to be pretty precise, considering what we're doing. Let me just fix that. Just fix that. Okay. Yes, good! We reached the designated orbit, so now I just neutralize my controls for 10 seconds. Yeah, the shotgun shells are for spiders. I've been streaming for... 2 or 3 years now? I guess like 2.5 years or something. But it's been a long time since I've streamed regularly. Like, I used to do Battlefield and that kind of thing. That was a long time ago. So, like, I haven't been streaming that consistently in a long time, which is probably... Oh, hey, look, we got a bit of a lunar eclipse happening here. I was wondering why the sun was not hitting my solar panels particularly strongly. I was trying to turn this thing so that it would, but it's actually because the moon is in the way. Can't do much about that. Anyway, that's good. That contract's done. We got, what, $90,000 or something, so I can get back to work on that space plane, provided I'm not killed by a spider in the interim. And we will leave that thing there to serve as a communications satellite whenever I need it. You know, as long as it's in the daylight, because if it's not in the daylight... Oh yeah, I should rename that thing. What should I... Well, I'm not going to do it right now, because I'd have to go back to flying it. I'll rename it later. Let's wait until it's daytime and then give that space plane another try. Yeah, nice! Lunar eclipse visible from the planet even. There's the moon right there. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Alright, let's load up our plane. Prayer Air. Sorry, this spider situation has me mildly distracted. I'm just trying to keep an eye on my surroundings, you know, so I don't have any unpleasant surprises. It's more likely, because the Sydney funnel web, despite being really deadly and named after the fucking city I live in, because I guess God hates Australia, is pretty uncommon, so it's probably more likely to be something that wouldn't actually totally kill me if it bit me. Probably. I hate summer, man. Too many spiders. So, the problem I had last time was twofold. This thing doesn't have quite enough lift. Yeah, I do need parachutes all over it. It doesn't have quite enough lift, and that's the main issue, really. I need bigger wings. This thing's pretty heavy with the payload in there. So I either need, like, just larger wings, or I need to add more wings. I could add some more, I could add something to the ends of these wings. What if I, does this, like, nicely, if I get this smaller one, will it, like, smoothly? No, like, that's just silly, though, right? I mean, that's just absurd. I mean, I don't think I'd have a problem with not having enough lift, but, I think you'd probably find that this would rip off, so let's not do that. That seems like a bad idea. Where are those little winglets? Maybe I'll use those. Oh, hey, what about one of these? Structural wing. How about, Oh, these don't claim to provide lift, but I do have, FAR, so they will provide lift, even if they don't say they will. Let's try one of these. Well, not that one, obviously. That doesn't exactly mesh nicely. Biplane! That's a good idea! I mean, like, it seems like a terrible idea in one way, but in another way... Man, that'd be great. I could just shove some struts. Man, where are the struts? Like, if I just got a couple struts... If I just turn these things so they point up... Wait, I had it for a second there. Alright. This is such a bad idea. I love it. I love it. Okay. Is that gonna be high enough? Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. That looks fine. Okay. Let's get a couple more of these, and oh, you know what? I think that's gonna be the design. That's, yeah, no, I think that's what I need right there. I'm gonna say that that's... No, let's not do that. That's just silly. Okay, so we want to rotate these, obviously. No, I'd like them to be... Okay, so I need to move these struts. This is such a good idea. I can hardly believe how good of an idea this is. It's not quite right. No, I think this is looking good. Now I just need these nice strong strut connectors that I think are part of B9 Aerospace. We're gonna just need like a whole shitload of these, I think. We're just gonna... This is gonna work great. This is gonna fly so well. This is barely going to blow up at all. That's looking great. That's looking really good. Where's our center of lift at? Where's our center? Okay, center of lift's a little bit high. We generally want that to be a little bit sort of below the center of mass. So I'm just gonna take this whole... No, stay attached there. No, stay... Fucking symmetry. Stay there. What's the key to duplicate a part again? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm just gonna take this whole ugly mess and put this... Alright, we just want it a little bit lower down though. This is such a bad plan. I'm not thinking this is gonna work very well. I'm thinking this is not gonna work super great. Let's not make a biplane. I don't think I'm gonna get that one working. Let's try something else. Where are those little winglets with the control surfaces in them? I know here we go. AVR8 winglets. So if I'm just gonna... These have some lift, right? Why won't this let me... Why can't I put it there? Here we go. Now, these things tend to flip out when you use them with, FAR, so I'm just gonna disable their control surfaces. That'll give us a little bit more lift. You know what, for this first mission, let's just, let's just get rid of our payload, because we don't need it for this first mission. And we'll try that instead. We do want that payload there for the other thing, so we'll save this as something else. No. Let's just call this, how about, like, what's a good name for, like, how about, like, aeroplane? Yeah, there we go. That's a nice original name for this kind of vessel. Shit, that probably would have worked on ours. I should have put the other set of wings. The biplane beneath. But anyway, this should work. Without the payload in there, I should be able to complete the one contract to do aerial surveys. Okay, this is gonna work just fine. This is gonna be great. This is going to be the finest aircraft that anyone's ever seen. Let us accelerate. I should probably turn off the brakes. Let us accelerate. Inside the docking bay. I will remember that. Let's get more speed on this thing. Alright, here we go. Lift. Lift. We're not going to crash into the ocean. Not this time. Not today. So the problem I had most recently was that the thing ripped itself apart under aerodynamic forces. I tried to turn when I was going a little bit too fast. We need to slow down here. You can see this thing wobbling like a motherfucker, just trying to pull itself apart under the aerodynamic forces which it's experiencing. Let's just kill our thrust. We need to get a bit higher. Yeah, I could use the rockets to assist the takeoff, but, or, you know, install rockets on the bottom of the thing even. It'd be really silly, but I shouldn't need it. We're okay in terms of getting off the runway. It's just, it doesn't fly super well, and you can just see the wings wobbling around every time I turn it. Okay, this is a good altitude. We need to be at 4 for current objective. Yeah, I've got rockets here for flying in space, which I'm not using at the moment, obviously. I would just love it. It looks like it's a bird, though, you know? It's trying to flap. I do need more struts. Instead of, you know, no struts. Ah, fuck, I forgot the parachutes. If this thing rips apart, it's... Oh no, I've got orange shirts in here as well. That's not good. Untested aircraft, that I've got permadeath on. I don't want those guys to be dying. Anyway, let's just try and turn this thing. We're just going to use yaw, because that's less likely to make it tear apart under FAR. Oh, geez, I didn't think about testing the rockets to, I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay, so our target's way out there. What we're gonna do we're just gonna try and fly out to this first zone and fly back to the Space Center and land. Okay, that's all we're gonna do on this mission. And hopefully our ship is not going to destroy itself. This seems to be about a third thrust, seems to be good for sort of maintaining my speed. My altitude's good. I want to keep my altitude around 1,800 to 2,000 meters so that I'm at the right height for this observation. I need to be between 1270 and 2480, so I'm actually a little bit higher than I strictly need to be, but we'll try and keep it around 2,000. Yeah, Jeb and Bill are like, Bill looks terrified. Jeb and I is loving it though, but Bill is not liking this at all. Hey, let's fly from in here. Let's use this and fly from inside the cockpit. This is gonna be great. This is gonna work perfectly. Man, these cockpit interiors are really nice. Look at him, he's loving it. Anyway, no, there's no need to abort this mission. I think these guys have got this. We're just going to keep the speed nice and low. I'm going to be careful here, and I don't like the way this thing's flapping around, but I don't think it's going to deconstruct itself. As long as I'm just careful and don't turn too sharply, I think I can get this thing back safely. How far out are we? So we're about a third of the way out to our target. We're not going to go too fast. I feel like if I went slower, it might flap less, but this thing has very little lift for how heavy it is. So, I mean, really for this thing that I'm just doing inside the atmosphere, I should make a smaller thing that doesn't have this giant cargo hold that currently has nothing in it. But it's a good way to, you know, test a craft that I'm hoping to use for a lot of missions to put payloads into orbit. Even if it's a little bit excessive for this mission. I'm sure this mission's gonna go just fine. It's gonna take us a while to fly out there, and I could accelerate time, but I really don't want to. I'm worried if I accelerate time, this thing's just going to fucking tear itself apart. So we're not gonna be accelerating time at all. Maybe if I turn off SAS, it'll stop flipping out so bad. Nope, that was a bad idea. Let's just keep that on, shall we? Yeah, I had the exact same thought, Lars. If we turn off SAS, it's going to face towards the ground. So the deal, what I need is I need some lift, some little wings near the front of the plane, because with SAS off, just the nose tries to pitch way down. It's just not very balanced. So what I need I'll put some little flaps on the front there to give it a bit of lift. That should help a lot. It'll also make it easier to lift off the runway. Use a little bit more torque. I could use RCS. Since I'm not even going into space, I could turn on my RCS thrusters. It's obviously not going to do much inside the atmosphere, but it couldn't hurt. Might keep the thing a little bit more stable. Like they do something in the atmosphere. It's just not great. Seems to be wobbling a bit less. These aren't even firing. Actually, do these not have fuel? They don't seem to be firing at all. Well, I'm able to keep it a bit more stable with the RCS thrusters on, even though it doesn't look like they're firing. They must be doing something. Yeah, I should add some struts to the wings as well, so that doesn't flap like that. I'm not sure these elevons are really doing the trick. Oh, you know, maybe I should try turning off the torque in the crew cabin. Sometimes that can play havoc with, Oh, hey, we ended up being off target. Oh, okay, there goes the RCS. The RCS thrusters are doing something. Let's turn those off. I don't think that's helping, actually. And I don't think turning the torque off helped, so let's get the torque back in the cabin there. We want to be really careful with this and just not turn too aggressively. And then it shouldn't rip apart. Ooh, that was bad. Let's kill a little bit more throttle. As long as I keep the thing pitched up a bit, it does fly. Yeah, I mean, I've got monopropellant. The RCS thrusters are being used. Let's turn those back on, actually. I think that was helping. Maybe I should turn off these oh, I can't do that in flight. I was going to say, maybe I should disable the controls on those elevons. I actually need to go down a little bit. Let's just turn off our thrust for a minute and see how we, Oh, yeah, I reached the site. This thing flies okay, even with just no thrust. I think I actually just need to fly a little bit more slowly. No, I need to do something so that the front is a bit more stable. This is okay, though. So did that complete? I guess I have to wait until it says, like, surveillance complete or something. Can I do a crew report here? I can. How wonderful. There's not going to be any destruction, Lars. This thing's not going to crash. This thing's going to fly just fine. We're going to make it back home in one piece. It's going to be great. It's probably going to take me a while to fly back. Once this thing... Am I looking at the wrong contract? No. My altitude's right. It says I've reached the site. I guess I just... There we go. Transmitting surveillance. There we go. That's done. Okay, so we got 9,000 from that. Now, as long as I can get this thing back and land it, that's basically 9,000 funds for nothing. But the real question is, can I do that? I need to turn this thing completely around, which is going to be tricky. I'm going to need a bit more thrust. Now, we want to be really careful when we try to turn this thing 180, because this is, like, I'm really worried this is going to make it rip apart because of FAR. That's what happened to me last time, is I tried to turn quickly, and FAR just ripped my plane asunder. But we're just going to do this one. Maybe I should go faster. Maybe you're right. I feel like going you know what? On my way back, I'll try and drive faster. And maybe that'll help. Either that, or the plane will destroy itself. That's a good point, actually. I may as well go and get all of them with this turning circle. They're pretty far apart, but it's not actually that bad. I've got shitloads of fuel, so that's not going to be an issue. Plus, it'll give me a bit more practice flying this thing. This is the first time I've actually made any kind of, like, aerodynamic craft in Kerbal Space Program and had it work even remotely. This is obviously not great, but it's kind of flying. I really need to do something about, like, just the nose always tries to pitch down is the big deal issue there. Maybe if I go faster, that won't happen. Let's go faster. Just keep that thing pointed at the horizon. No, I don't think going faster is going to help. I think that's making it a lot more unstable. I think that's going to cause it to rip apart. Yeah, I don't want it to fail with my orange suits in there, though. Because, you know, they won't respawn. I like those guys. No, I think the max speed... Okay, actually, this is stable. So it looks like I want to keep this right around 250 meters a second. And then it's going to fly okay. Like right around 250 meters per second, it started to sort of be stable. It's actually only when I try and turn it that it really flips the fuck out. Maybe it was the level of throttle I was applying, not the specific speed, because this is still not working great. I can just get my prograde marker on the horizon and have it fly nice and straight again like it was a second ago. That would be lovely. Trying to toggle on, switching on and off the SAS here to try and get it a little bit. Maybe it only flies stable when it's pitched a bit higher. Yeah, I think maybe these elevons clipping the wings is part of the problem. I don't think that's helping anything. That might actually be it. That might be why the wings are wobbling so much. One of the main reasons, anyway. This thing's flying okay. I'm a bit off target now. This is going to be a long mission. As long as I don't experience a sudden, rapid unplanned disassembly, as they say, I think it's going to be fine. I'm actually inclined to just head back because I really don't want these guys dying. It's gonna be night at the space. Okay, well, I'm so close to this zone. I'll get this zone now. No, it's not the winglets. I'm pretty sure it's not the winglets, because maybe. No, I was having this problem before I attached the winglets, actually, so it's not those. This was already there. I'll put some struts on the wings to try and make that a bit more stable, and the nose pulls down a lot, I think is part of the problem, so I'll add some winglets near the front of the plane to maybe make it a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I mean, I placed these with clipping on. It doesn't think they're clipping, I guess the models. Maybe I need to use different flaps. Anyway, let's just finish this survey, and then we'll head back to the Space Center. I don't want to try and land at night, which will be coming pretty soon. Oh wait, no it won't. Holy shit, the planet rotates the other way. Dirt, I launched in the morning. Got plenty of time. No, I'm not gonna pussy out. We'll get all 3 of these zones. We'll get our money. That's the second one done. Get our money in science, head back, then we'll try and fix this. It does make for a long and rather unexciting to watch mission, I'm afraid. Although there is the... Yeah, I've tried flying without SAS. It made things worse. The SAS is helping. So is the RCS, even though I'm in the atmosphere, the RCS is making it a little bit more stable than it would otherwise be. This is... It may also be that I'm too low. Like, it might work a little bit better if I was... Or it might be too high for these basic jet engines. I'm not really sure. It might be an altitude-related issue as well. I'll try and fix this up when I get back. I'm sure this thing... It works okay. Since this is a nice long mission, it's giving me plenty of time to drink my wine, which is, you know, always good when you're flying a plane. The good thing about hitting all 3 of these is I won't have to turn quite as aggressively to get back to the Space Center. I'm not going to have to do a complete 180. It's not going to explode, Lars. Everything's going to be fine. It's flying just fine. It's a little bit wobbly, sure, but aren't we all a little bit wobbly in these uncertain times of economic crisis? Whoa, shit! Just pitched like crazy there. You're right, I should save some RCS for the landing. I've got quite a lot left, actually, so I'm burning through that pretty slowly. I should have plenty for whatever I'm going to want to do in space, is the good news, based on how slowly that's being eaten. I'll just keep that open so that I can keep an eye on that, because you're right, I should save some for the landing. That's where I'm going to need the extra stability the most. Yeah, I do have turbojets unlocked. I'd probably have to, because the turbojets don't work well near the ground, I'd probably have to use the rockets to assist with takeoff. But that's okay, there's quite a lot of delta V in the rockets, so I should still have enough. Maybe. I'm not sure. As long as my orbital insertion was good, that should be fine. This thing definitely needs some adjustments. Yeah, Australia was also not badly affected by the economic crisis. Things were pretty stable here. But what about the Ebolas? You've seen the evil within, Lars. The Ebola is coming for us all. Alright, starting to get close to Bob's descent, and then we can head back. I really don't want Bill and Jeb dying on this mission. I like Bill and Jeb. At least I know I have plenty of fuel. I mean, if this thing was capable of getting into orbit, it's not like I was going to run out of jet fuel. I might have a problem with liquid fuel when I get up into space. I'm not sure about that, but I could probably have less jet fuel, actually. It seems that I have way more. Yeah, there's definitely not enough lift. The thing is always trying to pitch down. It's really hard to get it off the runway. I don't have enough lift for anything. So that's going to be one of the things I'm going to change, is try and add some more lift to this thing. I think I'm just going to add, like, some wings here and some wings here, like, and that should help. That should also keep it a bit more stable and balanced, hopefully. Not too sure about that, but I really hope. One of this, maybe that might help a lot with the wobbling, because what happens is that I lift the nose up to try and keep the prograde marker on the horizon so that I don't lose altitude. But the nose of the craft, like, naturally wants to pitch down. The thing's not balanced, it's front heavy. Oh, jeez. Well, I wouldn't worry too much about the Ebolas. I don't think it's going to become as much of an issue as people are afraid of. I actually think the level of fear surrounding it, particularly in the media in the United States, is fucking insane. Just totally nuts. But I mean, it's not exactly the first time the American media has flipped out with some kind of, like, epidemic scare, and then everything's turned out to be fine. You still vote for a biplane. I could try and do a biplane. I'm really not sure that's a good idea. I mean, this thing is at least kind of flying. It's not perfect, but it is kind of. Alright, so that's done. That gave us a lot of money, so even if I crash this, we're not going to have fund issues. Now I just need to turn around and get us heading back to the Space Center, which is going to be kind of tricky because, well, we want to go sort of 45 degrees between north and west, so I guess I should turn the craft. It should be back this way. Let's try not to rip apart as we turn. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the situation in Africa is obviously, like, it's obviously really bad in Africa, but here, in the West, I mean, not here specifically, I think it's, the fears about it are probably a bit exaggerated. The thing turns okay. It's a pretty wide turning circle, but it does turn without ripping apart in the atmosphere. I consider that. I think we're now heading. Let me just check our heading. That's not particularly helpful. I feel like this should be the way back. If I fly a little bit higher, well, this thing might stabilize if I fly. Although the basic jet engines won't like that. Just throttle up for a bit. Okay, which we are going the wrong way. I should not have listened to my gut. I should have turned the other way. That's okay. I gotta go. No, airplane. I gotta turn. Let's turn off the RCS now so I have some for landing. Airplane. I gotta turn this way now. Just pitch the wings a little bit more. Yeah, you're probably right that I want to... Maybe I do want to head towards 300, actually. Which means I'm turning the wrong way again. You're probably... That's probably right. I probably do want to head towards 300 now that I think about it. Let's give that a shot. It takes a while to turn this bloody thing. I really don't want to rip the wings off. And I mean, I could just land in the water. I made enough money from that. And I mean, if, you know, I made sure I was going slow enough that wouldn't kill Bill and Jeb. If I went up, I'm not sure I'd be able to slow myself down enough, though. It's not like I have air brakes or thrusters pointing, you know, backwards. That's a bit of it. I'm going so much the wrong way. Oh, wait, no, yeah, there we go. Yeah, you're right. So what I want to do is I want to go towards, like... That's almost right. Right around here is gonna... This is gonna be the right way, more or less. Let's have a look here. I want to go a little bit more west. No, I'm not going to ditch in the ocean. I feel like that's probably not going to save Bill and Jib. I really should have put a parachute on this. Like a lot of parachutes. Then I could ditch in the ocean safely. Or really, you know, anywhere. If I just had some parachutes. As you know, an emergency. I could RCS backwards, but I don't have that much monopropellant left. I'm not sure that I'd slow myself down enough. This thing's pretty heavy. I don't think I have enough monopropellant to slow myself down enough to not kill my wonderful crew. But we're facing the right direction now. Almost. We should be able to fly this thing back. I've never managed to even get this far with the whole aerodynamic craft thing in Kerbal Space Program before, so whether or not I'll be able to even land on the runway is... Yeah, well, we'll see when we get there, won't we? How much life support do these gentlemen have? Enough for 3 days, 2 hours of electricity. That's all fine. Whoops. It does seem to fly a little bit better with the nose pointing a bit higher, so I may as well gain some altitude. I can't go very slow at all. No, it doesn't, it just, Lars rather, it doesn't have enough lift to fly properly. I could try and use the translational keys to thrust. I think it's... Translate. Alright, because the RCS is disabled. I could try and use, that's sideways. So K is up. I could try and thrust upwards. To give it more lift, but I'd be running out of monopropellant really fast that way.